Hey y'all, bad news. I broke both my vapes. This is the Dabuda Vaporizer. I love it. I broke it by accident. I tried to fix it. It didn't work. I'm gonna have it repaired. This one is a Sidekick. The first Sidekick. And I broke it on purpose because it sucks, in my perspective. Because this one is what I'm used to, and it's basic perfection. I'll tell you what happened. So here's the Dabuda vape. This one, in 2 months, is going to be 10 years old. The reason that it broke is because of the plastic base developing a crack right here. And it developed a crack. It probably fell off my lap. And then these washers I put on afterward, but what would happen was, because the washers weren't on there, the base would come off that screw. I removed the screw so you could see the effect, but basically I'd be hanging out, and it would be on my lap, and then it would spin, lose its balance, and go flying onto the floor, which wasn't very far because my bed's right on the ground. But after it's happened repeatedly, you can see the big crack going through it and the other side. This has happened a few times. And then one thing you'll also notice, this is loose. I didn't understand the inner workings of this as it was happening, but all of a sudden this thing started to be loose, after it rolled off my lap for the 500th time. And so I took it apart. You see, I've removed both screws now, and that's how you remove the bottom plate. Yeah, the original decal the face had peeled off of it, but that's how the hole should look, and that's why the small screws fit. But I do still think it's a nice kind of upgrade to maybe put a washer in there and give those screws a nice big head. And I also wonder why this has to be this plastic material. Maybe so the heat from this won't get onto this. But I mean, if it was maybe an aluminum or something other than plastic, I don't know. It's how it looks inside. This is a switch. This is where your cord comes in. And this here is the base of the heating element, which is over here. It's actually supposed to go together like this. But after I took it apart, I put it back together, and I still hadn't put on the washers. I don't know what I wasn't thinking, but I still didn't. So this thing kept falling off my lap, and eventually one of these little, there's two wires that run up, these little wires, and they connect right here to the heating element on each side. You should be able to see solder on there, because I literally tried to solder this thing back together. Up until a few days ago, actually one of them was still attached, and I kept trying to re-solder the other one. But what happened is, when I thought I got it soldered good, I fired it up, and then I don't know if you can see this little, I don't know if it's a diode or it's not. It's one of those transmitter, fucking one of those little electrical gadgets, part of the circuit board here. There should be 3 prongs there. You can see that one of the prongs burn itself out. So I don't know, something must have gone wrong with my soldering job. So after that happened, this became unusable. I didn't really know I had what my options were to fix this, but I seen that they had these are the Sidekick portable vaporizers, same company that I'm in love with this thing from. I figured, let's get this. Now, I did see some mixed reviews about how some people had that malfunctioning. We'll talk about that. Here's the pieces. I got this thing, you know, it was a pretty good deal. I think it was delivered for under $50. Got like little custom engraving here, which they call it an engraving, but it's more like some kind of paint or something, or decal. Whatever. What had happened is initially this thing was working pretty good. I used it a few times. You have to keep your batteries coupled and things. Like charge the same batteries together because it takes two. The Sidekick 2 second version, this is the first version, about $100 more, and it has like one big long battery, so you don't have to worry keeping track of them. But I didn't have it very long. Like this happened within like months. What would happen was I would always have my batteries showing charged on the charger, but when I would put them in here, it would like just like drop the power off, like no matter what I did. I did call and I asked customer service about this because I finally called them and just said, like, I have to give you guys a bad review because this thing, like, I seen that some people were having malfunctions and like I wasn't in a good state of mind, and this was just like I smashed it. Like I was like I smashed it because I figured I got one that just was not working, one of those malfunctioning ones that people were complaining about on the website, which they did remove those comments. I can't find the negative comments anymore. The representative explained that a lot of people were having user errors with the heat button because when you turn them on, you have to restart the heat to get them to go. And then she said something about it like vibrating and turning off. And then they had to mail them back to people after they sent them in and say, look, you just have to read the directions. I said, well, at this point, like, I can't prove that either way. I mean, this thing is so smashed up. I got like a little component, little digital component right here hanging off. I doubt that they could even like put this together and see what went wrong with it. But yeah, it worked like initially, and then like no matter if my batteries were charged, it would just like appear to like totally like short out on the batteries and turn off. So yeah, I smashed it. But I mean, the only real damage I did to the casing, you can see a bend here, and it started to pop apart, and I pulled the thing out. The glass mouthpiece broke, but everything else, like if this digital stuff was working, you know, this could be undented and put back together. But like I said, it's not working, and I don't think it was the operator error. It's hard to remember what I was doing at the time, but I'm sure I read the directions and I did have it working. But I wouldn't pay to have this repaired, and I wouldn't really be interested in using it anyways because, like I said earlier in the video, once you use the Dabuda, like the quality of hits you get in vape and clouds and taste is like incomparable to this. This can't match that at all. And even I would say this is more of like a it almost ends up being like a regular burn in a way. Here's the chamber. Like the holes in it are really tiny. And then there's like this screen here. And the holes in that are super tiny. So, I mean, I didn't like the vape that this produced at all. Aside from being like, in my perspective, this is most likely one of the ones that is actually defective. But this is like a regular, it's just a switch, you know, and a heating element. This one has like all this like digital stuff going on, and like you gotta push all these buttons and stuff, and just it's like too computerized. It's not, and the other thing is you can't plug it into the wall. Like if they had like where you could plug it in the wall, battery issues wouldn't matter. But you can't plug it into the wall either. So I mean, this thing just sucks. I wouldn't sell this to anybody. I wouldn't want it again. I wouldn't want the second version of it either. So about repairing this, I spoke with customer care representative and was told that for $30 plus the shipping, which would be about 10, they'll send me out a tracking label. I box it up, take all the glass off of it, and they'll repair it. And I said, you know, it's got the this top cylinder containing the glass has become removed from its place. I said the base is cracked. It needs a new switch, and it needs a heater. She said all that, and it would be under a new warranty. So I really hope that they are able to actually keep my original cylinder, because I mean that's really all that's good in it anymore. That's like would be like all that's pretty much original anymore. And but it's my original cylinder, so it would mean a lot to me. Um, I don't know if like maybe they could like do a little like courtesy engraving, like a little X8X on there or something. That would be super cool, you know? Because this would be like my second Dabuda review. Like this is like if this didn't happen, if I didn't like drop this off my lap like 500 times from if I had thought to like put these washers on the screws before like the base became totally cracked up, probably the components inside wouldn't have shaken loose and the heater element wouldn't have broke, even though I do think those little two leads on the heater element are kind of thin and flimsy and the connection is questionable. But aside from strange design things, like I said, this is like perfection. And this would be 10 years. This thing would not have needed any repairs if that didn't happen. If I didn't drop it like 500 times off my lap while I was smoking, vaping. So yeah, I'm looking forward. I think that's a really good deal to get this repaired. Right now, this is like a special item to me. I haven't been able to use it for like over 6 months.